Hey guys, how you doing? I hope everybody is doing great and enjoying their summer. I appreciate you taking some time here to come in and learn a little bit more about Google Apps and how you can hopefully use them in your classroom, and hopefully they will save you some time and give you a little bit more of an edge next year in your classroom. Today's video is going to be real short and hopefully quick, but not to be fooled that I believe what you can get out of this video will pay off tenfold. This is a great little app, very simple, easy to use. I love tools when they're simple and easy to use because that means that that we're going to get the most out of them that we possibly can, and it makes us more prone to using them and repeatedly using them in our classroom. So this is one of those things that I feel like once you kind of use, you'll use them over and over and over again. The tool that we're going to be using today is called Flubaroo, and basically what it does is it grades your quizzes for you. It'll help you create self-grading quizzes through the power of Google. So pretty neat. My teachers here at Riverwatch have absolutely loved it, and the piece that they really love is the fact that that we are really trying to, just like I know everybody else is, we're trying to differentiate, and we're trying to make sure that we are using formative assessment data to mold our teaching, and we want to go back and remediate on those standards that we don't maybe show mastery of yet, and we want to be able to know what skills that we do have mastery over so that we can then move on and enrich in certain standards. And I know that one big struggle that we have is that gathering formative data sometimes can be very time consuming. Well, this tool is going to help remedy that issue. What I want to do, first thing that you want to do is you want to create a Google form. And we will create a questionnaire on Google Form that will kind of act as a quiz for our students. If you've never played with Google Forms is one of the greatest tools that Google has came out with. I'm going to pull up a new one real quick. But a form kind of starts off like this, and it gives you all sorts of different question types: short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, check boxes, drop down menu, linear scale, dates and times. There's all sorts of different types of question types, but for time's sake, to save you time, I have already gone in and created a form that we're going to use today. It is my sample exit ticket here, and just kind of show you real quick, we're going to do a brief walkthrough on what my exit ticket looks like. My exit ticket here, you see that my first three questions are what I like to call identifying questions. These are questions that do nothing other than identify the student. Whenever you're using Google Forms to create a quiz, it is very important to have these types of questions, because if you do not, the only way you're going to be able to identify whose responses are whose is by knowing their student number. So unless you have all 30 students in your classrooms, or 150 students that you teach, or 250, ever how many kids that you teach throughout the day, unless you have all of their student numbers memorized, you're going to have a tough time. So identifying questions. So basically all I've done is create two short answers right here. One for your first name, one for their last name, and then I created a third multiple choice question for them to choose which class period they're in. So I just did first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I know a lot of people like to do colors and things like that, since some schools are on rotating schedules, so first period may not always be first period, but you can kind of do that to match whatever your needs may be. All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes down here and check out what we got. So I just made three really easy questions. And my first one's just a simple multiple choice question. It says 2 + 2 equals, and they've got to select the correct answer. One thing I do want to make sure that we are always doing on Google Forms is clicking this required questions box down here. This makes students answer the question that they're on. You know how kids are. Sometimes they could get in a hurry and a rush and skip over a question, and then they turn it in and it's marked wrong because they don't have a response. So this kind of helps battle that. So make sure you're always clicking required question. Next question: which of the following people was a president of the United States? This is a drop-down menu, so it just is a drop-down menu. They select the correct answer off the drop-down menu. I have several Georges for them to pick from. Once again, required question. And then, what is the capital of New York? And I have just another multiple choice question. But You can formulate questions pretty much however you want to. One thing I do want to urge you is that when you're using Flubaroo and you're using this tool, make sure that you're creating questions that are one answer. The answer is A. The answer is B. The answer is photosynthesis. The answer is 37. It needs to be a solid answer that is either right or wrong. Flubaroo, how great it would be, it is not going to be able to go in and grade a paragraph of written text by your student and grade it for you. So it's not that awesome yet. Hopefully maybe one day. But it will go in and it will basically save you a lot of time by grading these quick multiple choice and fill in the blank answer questions. Alright, so let's look at how we actually do this. So let's click here and let's go to view responses. And if you've never used forms before, basically Google Forms takes all the responses that people do and then it puts them into a spreadsheet for you, and they're nice and organized. And you can see that I've already submitted several answers. I'm going to go ahead and submit one more just to kind of show you how the quiz would look from a student's advantage. So let's view the live form. Alright, let's go ahead and complete the form real quick. Alright, so there we go, random person. They're in 4th period. Let's say they're pretty decent at math. They get this one right. They're pretty good with their history, and they get slipped up on New York, and they think it's New York City, and they submit the question. Alright, so I've submitted an answer. Boom, look at that. Greg Little's answer is populated onto my sheet. Alright, so let's look at Flubaroo. Flubaroo is an add-on. If you're not familiar with add-ons, Google Sheets or Google Docs or whatever Google app you're using has the ability to have attachments or add-on or applications added to them. And you do that by going up here to this nifty little button that says add-ons. I've already downloaded Flubaroo because I have used it before. I've used it, I've taught my teachers how to use it, so it's already there. But if you haven't added it, it's not going to be there. You would go to Get Add-ons, and then you would just go right up here to the top and type in Flubaroo. Okay, or a lot of times it's right here. So boom, you would come here. This, instead of saying manage, it would say download, and you would download it, and it would download it and put it on there. So once I've came in and I've opened and I've got Flubaroo, the add-on, I'll go back up and I'll use Flubaroo, and I'll go up here and I will go to, I've already graded this assignment once, I will go to grade. Instead of regrade, it will say grade assignment. So this would say grade assignment. So I'll click that, and it's going to pull up the Flubaroo grading steps. So it's going to walk you through this. So basically, Flubaroo is going to hash through each question that you've created, and it's going to decide a couple of things. Flubaroo is pretty smart, and it is an app that was made for teachers. So it was made, and it knows that you're going to collect data on your students. It knows you're going to ask for a first name. It knows that you're going to ask for a last name. It knows that you're going to want to know what class period that your students are in. And it goes ahead and it marks these questions as identifies student. That basically means that this question is an identifying question, and it does not need to be graded right or wrong. So it knows that. I did not change these settings. It automatically picked that, which is pretty neat. We get down here to our questions, and it knows that it says normal grading. Alright, well, let's look at some grading options here. Identify students, which we already talked about. Skip grading. So let's say that you have a quiz and you're trying to formatively assess what you did today, and you want to get a pre-assessment on what you're going to do tomorrow. So I could do my 2 or 3 exit ticket questions plus a question maybe over, let's say we're doing genetics tomorrow. I could do a quick genetics question, and I could select skip grading, and it's not going to grade the assessment or that question on the assessment, and it allows me to get the data without having it hurt the students' grades. Normal grading, just like you and I grade, it assigns a point value. If you get the question right, it gives you the points. If you don't get the question right, you get 0 points. And grade by hand. So let's say that you have 10 multiple choice questions and a paragraph answer at the end. Flubaroo will grade your 10 multiple choice questions. You will go back in and give the student a grade on the handwritten piece, and then it will calculate the grade for you at the end. So lots of good options here. So we want normal gradings. You also have the ability to assign point totals to each question. So question 1, I can make it worth 3 points, and then question 2, I can make it worth 2 points, and question 3, I can make it worth 6 points. Okay, so that kind of gives us a total of 12 points. I can assign any point totals I want. I hit continue. It's going to come up. And basically what's going to happen is it's going to pull up all the responses that have been submitted. Alright, if you look right here, this one right here, it says answer key. I basically went back to my form and I took the test, and all I did was name someone answer key. And it just helps me figure out which one I want to use, and I just went ahead and I named one answer key, and I went through and answered all of my questions correctly. That's all I did. And then I submit the form, and then when I come back to Flubaroo and I'm getting ready to set this up, I can tell that this is the person that I want to use to grade the assessment with. I just created my answer key for Flubaroo to go through and grade my quizzes at lightning speed. Okay, so you create your answer key, you make an answer key submission, and then you select that on this grading step 2. Hit continue. Boom, Flubaroo is grading my assignment, and there it is. Flubaroo's grading is complete. And let's look at a couple of different things over here. So it's basically got my identifying questions right here. Up here at the top, points possible 11, average points scored 5.4, 5 total submissions, and then you see this, it says number of low scoring questions 1. Let's go back over here and look at this capital of New York City question. You see how it's highlighted in yellow? That means that that means that more than 60% of the students in my class got this question incorrect. That means more than 60%. More than 6 out of 10 students in this class got that question incorrect. And they do that to kind of help the teachers identify and make you step back and say, hey, did I put that question incorrect in the answer key? Or maybe it's a bad question. Okay? And it's going to do that. So these 2 questions, you can see that they're white. So there was nothing alarming about them. But only 40% of the students in this class got this question correct. Only 40%, and then you can see that 60% and 60% there. So if one more person would have got one of these questions wrong, they would have been yellow as well. Alright, Flubaroo also color codes your students. If the student is in red, they scored a failing score. They made less than 70%. So it's already on there. So if I had 100 submissions, it would color red and black, depending on what they are. So you're able to do all of that in there. Now, let's look at a couple of different things. We're going to wrap this video up. And I urge you to play with this and do it on your own and create a practice sheet just like I did and get it set up. Now, for high school teachers, where your students have the ability to access their Gmail that's attached to their Forsyth County account, you can share the grades back to them through Flubaroo. It will email them their grade that they scored, and you just go to grade sharing method here and share via email, and you can see that. You have an option to include the answer key if you want to, and you can type a message to your class if you want to. So you have the ability to share grades. You also have the ability to regrade the assignment. So let's say that I find out that I had a question that I maybe messed up the answer on. I can go change the answer key. I can then go back and regrade the assignment, and it will regrade every submission. Also be aware that it doesn't, once you hit grade assignment, it basically closes the window for what it's grading. So that I had 5 submissions in, it only graded 5 submissions. If I submitted another response right now, right behind this, it wouldn't be graded. I would have to go back in here, hit regrade. Okay, so kind of looking at if I have my first period class and I give them their exit ticket and then I grade it, and then my second period class comes in, I'm going to have to hit regrade, and it's going to grade everybody again. So you always have to hit grade when you get new submissions to have it grade. It'll also give you different kinds of reports. If you click view report, they do take a little bit to pull up right here, but it'll pull up some bar graphs for you, and you can kind of pull some data off of that. Guys, while this is pulling up, I urge you to get on here and kind of check this stuff out for yourself. This is a very awesome app, and it will save you tons of time and help you get back maybe some of your free time, some of your time you're spending grading papers and grading little bitty formative assessments like this. Great thing. Get on there. You know, the possibilities are endless. My teachers loved it. I think that you'll love it too. So I hope you guys have a wonderful summer. I appreciate you stopping by, and I urge you to check out Flubaroo. And hopefully we'll see you again soon.